Dude, I'm not sure that I'm bought into this FC26 hype that we've had this week. It's been a lot of information. We've been bombarded with news and with content and with leaks, and I would benefit by coming out here and saying that I've been completely moved by all of this information, that the underwhelming delivery of FC25 is swept under the rug, and that I'm super excited to restart in 26. And I know that I will be excited as we get close to the release of FC26. I'll be enthusiastic to restart and start from the beginning and trade my way up and build my ultimate team the way I like to do it. Every year, that part of the game is fun, and it really never gets old. I love that first phase of the game, but it seems to die sooner and sooner every year. And the thing we have to admit is, even though I don't think that FC26 is going to be that much different from FC25, we are in a completely new era of gaming entirely, and this franchise is not exempt from this new era. You have to follow the trends, and if you take a look back at the golden age of FIFA in 15, in 14, in 17, it's a different game now. It's very, very different. And even if it's small details every single year that change, it adds up over the course of a decade, and we do have a very different game than we used to play. But as we get further into this era of gaming, the need for a new game to actually release is dropping significantly. And it makes me question whether FC26 even ever needed to come out in the first place, because we've already seen most of these changes in FC25 itself. So I've gathered a bunch of this news, like 8 different points. We're going to look at them today and determine if they're any different from what we've already seen. U7Buy has you covered. It's cheap, it's fast, and it's safe with 24/7 online customer support. Even big creators use it, and it has over 40,000 positive reviews. Make sure to use my link down in the description and use code NITRO for an extra 8% at checkout. I think one of the reasons that the game feels so similar every single year is that the gameplay is pretty consistently bad. And so what EA Sports try to do is they hide behind menu content. And what they'll do is they'll throw 200 special cards into packs. You'll get a special flare every single time you open one. You'll have 3 or 4 special cards in every single pack, and it'll be just enough of a dopamine hit to keep you grinding. They're going to distract you with menu content because the gameplay content is absolutely not keeping you on their game right now. And we're so desensitized to it that I can open a pack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different special cards, including a 95 rated icon card, and I will forget about those cards in 30 seconds. They do not mean anything to me anymore. But it's just enough to keep you grinding. You go do the other SBC and then the next one. Or you can use your evolutions or something. Anything on the menu content that'll keep you on the game. But it feels so repetitive. It feels like it's the same as years in the past. Because, well, in a lot of ways it is, but in a lot of ways it's just because EA Sports cannot create at the core a game you really just want to grind and play all day. I remember back when 2020 hit and we all had to stay inside, and I would grind Warzone just nonstop, and I didn't spend a single second of that messing with the cosmetics of the game or the aesthetics. I would just go into game after game after game because at its core, the gameplay was fun and I enjoyed it. And at the core of this, the gameplay isn't fun. They need to distract you and give you goals and objectives to get you to actually play their game because it's not good at its core. Now, with that being said, EA Sports have the ability to change their game in the middle of the year. And we've seen that. We actually saw them introduce these premium passes where if I were to get this, I would have to spend 500,000 coins or 1,000 FC points. Now, the disparity between those could be a video in itself. Of course, EA Sports are going to overprice the coins and then try to get you to spend real life money. Now, I'm smart and strong. I'm not going to give in to using those FC points. Absolutely not. I haven't bought FC points in well over a decade now. It's not going to start now. Plus, my entire channel is based around making coins and helping you guys make coins. I have no problem spending 500K. Now, I've done that the last couple seasons. I'm only on level 3. I'm not playing gameplay anymore, so there's really no point in me actually buying it this season. But the point is they did introduce that in the middle of the year. And they've introduced a few other things in the middle of the year. Like they even added a brand new playstyle plus, which is that low-driven shot that people have been absolutely abusing in game. I think my perennial Harder actually has that. Yes, she does. So that low-driven, which is the third playstyle on her card right there, that wasn't in the game at all until like about 3/4 of the way into the year. So EA Sports have the ability to change the game throughout the year. So it makes me question whether it's actually worth it at all to go in and spend another $100 to get another one of these games. Because if we take a look at some of these leaks, which we're going to get into now, guys, it just doesn't really seem like anything that they can't introduce in the middle of the year with a title update, right? So let's take a look at this first one, new skill moves. I don't think that this is going to change the game all that much. Elastico variation right here, or let's start at the beginning. Drag to chop, brand new skill move. Now, if you know all of the skill moves, this is going to change the game a little bit for you because you have a little bit more opportunity to use more. Trickster Rainbow, you might need like 6-star skills and a Brazilian citizenship to do that one. Explosive Step Over. Simple skill moves. And this one is weird. This one actually might change the game because if all it is clicking your right stick in a direction, it is going to be a lot easier to perform moves like the roulette. A lot easier to perform moves like, that looked like the Burba spin right there. So that's kind of how it works. Skill moves might be slightly altered, but it's nothing crazy that we haven't seen introduced in something like a title update or something that can't be introduced in a title update. So EA Sports used this as an opportunity to get another $100 out of us, but in reality, when we look at games like Fortnite, which have kind of set this trend, we might be heading towards a era where the FIFA or the FC franchise is going to have a release of one game, and it's going to continually run for years and years and years, similar to how Fortnite did. It might even be free. And because EA Sports have introduced so many of these microtransactions, they've done it in the store. They've done it on Evolutions. They've done it on FUT Draft. They've done it now in objectives. There's so many different ways to spend money in the game. You can even buy cosmetics now with the store as well, similar to how we see that in Fortnite. So they've kind of set the trend, and EA Sports are just copying that trend, but then they're also going out of their way to drop a new game every year that really isn't any different from the year before to get another $100 out of us, even though they could just drop a title update and it would be the exact same thing. Right here, we do have World Cup mode coming this year, and that's something that isn't out at the beginning of the year, but it's something that is honestly worth buying the game for because every single time the World Cup mode is in the game, it is absolutely incredible. So that's something that I'm actually looking forward to in FC26 right there. The transfer markets are going to be the exact same as they were in FC25. But one thing I haven't heard is if the hacking situation on PC is going to be fixed. It's something EA Sports have never wanted to address. Obviously, I play on PlayStation, so it doesn't affect me if you turn off crossplay, but the PC market has to remain separate from the other markets or it would be absolutely cooked. And if you play on PC, well, your experience is completely ruined in Ultimate Team. 1, because you're going to be playing against hackers a lot, and 2, the market is absolutely mudded because of the hackers. It's nothing in comparison to the transfer markets on consoles where it's actually kind of, and I say this very loosely, but kind of sustainable because EA Sports' power curve has kind of destroyed it anyway, but it's way, way better than the PC market. So that is something that I want EA Sports to address. That way we can, not have to turn off crossplay, and that way we can actually have the markets combined. But that's still something EA Sports just refused to address and acknowledge. They're just going to drop, you're going to have to pay $100 to play against hackers if you're on PC. That's just the reality of it. We do have some dates for FC26. We do know that the 10-hour trial is coming out on September 18th at 1 p.m. Now that, I believe, will be UK time because this guy is in the UK. So it'll be a little bit earlier in the morning if you're in the USA, or it'll be based on your time zone, and it'll just be 1 p.m. for every single time zone, which means that if you're in New Zealand, you're going to get it first, then you're going to get it in Asia, then you're going to get it in Europe and Africa, then you're going to get it in the Americas last. Sucks for us over here in the Americas, but that's kind of how it's always been. But that is the date that we're going to be looking for. So we are actually, that puts us, what is it, July? And then we got August, and then we got September. So we're less than 2 months away from this game being released. About 7 weeks away now. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some other small changes that are coming to the game. Automatic offside trap has been removed from FC26. I think that's a dub as well. It's something that has been abused throughout the year. It was overpowered. EA Sports never fixed it. So let's just get rid of it, and that'll fix it. So I'm pretty happy with that. On top of that, we have dates for the FC point distribution. We get the first 2,000 on September 19th, which is 1 day after the release of that 10-hour trial, and I would assume 1 day after the release of the Ultimate Edition. Now, here's the thing. I think that the release of the FC points on September 19th are going to come with your Ultimate Edition right away. I think they'll already be preloaded. So even if you get in on the 18th, I think you'll be able to have those points. I don't think you're gonna have to wait till the 19th, but it could be different because obviously this is a different system than previous years, but that's my prediction with that. Then we also have the Gauntlet game mode coming in FC26. Now, when this was leaked, I thought, okay, this is actually something new. This is actually something that I'm going to get excited for, but it's no different than any of your other, mystery mode game modes. Any of those friendly matches that we had this year, King of the Hill, Mystery Ball, all of that stuff, I think it's going to be very, very similar in a vibe to that. It's not going to be very used, and it's not going to be very different than the other, random game modes we've had in the friendly matches. So that doesn't really change too much. And then one thing that I've kind of been waiting on some more information about, where did this go? Where did the open world concept go? Now, the only thing I can find on Twitter about it in the last couple of weeks is that open world is not going to be in FC26, that LeFaron TV, who does only have 3 followers, so respectfully, might not be true, but nobody else is talking about it. And we were really hyped up about this open world concept coming to FC26 that was officially released by EA Sports that just disappeared. It doesn't exist. It's not happening. So it was similar to the NBA My Park, that open world concept where you could bounce from game to game, walk around in the open world. That would have been something actually new. So instead, we have the introduction of 4 new playstyle pluses, like Aerial Fortress and stuff like that, which is no different from the mid-season release of the low-driven shot. We've got things that aren't really that much different from the friendly game modes. And then, of course, we're going to have World Cup mode, which is just something that could have been its own season. FC25 going into FC26, it's a title update. It's not a new game. It's a title update that instead costs you $100. Now, am I going to buy it? Yeah. Yeah, I told you. I love the beginning of each year's game, but if you're somebody that's on the fence about this, and you already have FC25, well, I'll tell you what, I don't think it's going to be all that different. But you guys can let me know your thoughts down in the comments, of course. Don't forget to subscribe to Nitro Gaming, and I'll see you guys again in the next one. Peace out.